welcome everyone, and a special welcome to, of course, our speaker of today evening, Mr. Utkarsh Dabre. Um, it's an honor, sir, that you have agreed to join us and really share your experience and your journey from an employee to an entrepreneur, and very much in the domain that we are all collected here to understand. Um, it is a very unstructured domain still, I believe, and you will be throwing some more light on that. And before we get into the topic of today, I think a little bit about our esteemed guest and speaker. So Mr. Utkarsh, of course, has a total of 20 years of experience. And like I mentioned, from a background of a master's in science degree. He was with Wipro and certain other MNCs. Uh, he is a multifaceted personality, being a techie, salesperson, and today an entrepreneur. And of course, a great team builder. So to play all these three roles, I think one has to be a people's person and a great team builder. He today is running his own two babies, which have been conceptualized by him. One is All Miles and one is Goa Miles. And I'm sure we will be having him talk about these two and how did he get into that. However, I think building a single platform from, which can give you a multimodal passenger ecosystem, and which is a one-stop solution for a lot of organizations that are running fleet of transport vehicles. Of course, recently due to the pandemic, there may have been a complete shutdown in these services. However, things are coming back into order again, and we're very soon going to be looking at everything being back on track. And I'm sure everyone would be looking at a more friendly, more convenient, more user-friendly kind of an ERP or a system which is more manageable efficiently as well. And of course, the cost factor definitely takes a priority for any organization. So I don't think I'm going to really get into any more details, but we have the privilege of hearing the man himself. And please feel free to share your questions on the chat box, and I will definitely take it up with the speaker towards the end. Thank you so much for being here with us, sir, and over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, Jatin, and thanks, JC, for this great opportunity for me to open up my mind also in terms of transport complexity. So my effort, towards this next 30 minutes of my presentation will be more towards informal rather formal. And I'll try to decode a couple of things. Being a third generation transporter, so probably I'd like to give more insights to the newcomers also. Most of them might be aware about that, or most of them might be, planning or in implementation phases of a couple of challenges. So, objective of this session is, putting more light on complexities and the challenges in a transport domain rather than solutions. So, yes, at the end of the presentation, I'll try to come up on a solution part also. So, Mr. Jatin, may I have a control of the screen so I can start sharing the.
You have it, please. I'm sure you'll be able to do it. Just try.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So I'll share my entire screen, desktop. That's best, right? I hope you're able to see my screen.
Yes, we are, sir.
Okay. So we're talking about the transport management system, and though it's particularly or specifically for employee transportation at the moment, but I like to correlate, it's a mass mobility, employee mobility, shared mobility, or for that matter, the private mobility are all interlinked. Although we'll put more focus on the employee transportation, but let me also reveal that what are the implications of each of them and how best we can understand it. Okay. So as a corporate pain points, most of you have gone through this in terms of solving the problem or mitigating the business challenges, or trying to make everyone happy. So commuting, that's a challenge, we understand. Fleet management may not be relevant in terms of virtually unsolvable. In the last 1 decade, there is a humongous development happening into the automation, and this sector, I'll say, once upon a time for India, it's a more unethical, unorganized, unprofessional, or you can say all bad names for the transport. Still, in some pockets, probably it might be in a test, but the IT industry has contributed more in that to make it more professional, and we need to appreciate that in terms of implementing the technology, implementing the control, implementing the processes over there. So most of you might be, aware about how best we have done or we have taken the challenges from the industry to make a paperless transportation, or the maintaining the huge stack of the billing or invoices or duty slips, and trying to solve major challenges in terms of malpractices, or in terms of theft, or I can say, a lot of other activities which are knowingly and unknowingly happen in this domain. Couple of them without any barrier, or probably not making it to more professional boundaries, I'd like to reveal today also what are my experience over in this domain. So let's understand the expectation, because we need to understand the transport management as an ecosystem. What exactly is that? And what are the expectations from the big houses? Although small houses also have the expectations, but the appetite to adopt certain things are still a challenge in the country. So visibility across all stakeholders, if you see the C-level people in the organization, they always like to have that. I want to see everything happening, under the nose of each and every department, right? In terms of transparency over there. Then there is a CFO level, people expect that, everything should be accurate. There should not be any malpractice. And, again, the system should be transparent. When it comes to the business, they are always answerable about, although they are following the follow the sun model, probably you are serving multiple geography, multiple ships in a day, and you want a real-time operational control on that. How many people are coming, how many people are going, what is the on-time arrival, on-time departure over there. And on top of that, again, when the organization comes with the all the expectation, having said a best technology in place, they want to have the cost saving. So every year, rather increasing the budget, the expectations are how best we can reduce the budget, or how best we can save the cost over there. So I'm sure all of you might be agreeing on that. And when it comes to the HR department, they want, yes, you put all the processes, but I want a work-life balance, I want travel-life balance, I want safety of my people coming to organization, I want peace and harmony. I'll touch on that aspect also, because behavioral aspect is also having much more impact on the transport management system. But obviously, security, because of the pandemic, the people are more paranoid about, in terms of the quality and sanity of the vehicle in the current state. So we'll touch base upon that part also. Yes, yeah, in terms of, I just mentioned that, 1 decade, the people who are not happy to say that, good morning, ma'am, or good morning, sir, has changed the attitude, and they used to pick up a bag now, and they used to pick up, open the door. That's what, the drastic change happened in the, country in the last 1 decade or 1.5 decade, you can say that. Although, the taste of the, I'll say, people who are pleasing, or people who have a different mindset, because transport domain is all viewed around that. Trust me or not, because within the boundaries of your organization limit, yes, you may not able to like to talk more about that, but that's how the country's industrial fabric or social fabric. Unfortunately, knowingly or unknowingly, it's like that. We will decode on that part also. But if you see in the current state, the pandemic has made a major impact onto the overall transport as an optimization in terms of safety, security, balance. Apart from that, the adoption by the employees, and now the upcoming technology enhancement like EVs, bikes, or the four-wheeler, which are more cost effective in terms of transportation. So whether employee shall manage to have their own vehicle, or shall leverage the company provided transportation. Apart from that, the chaotic situation on the roads, the women safety aspect, the peak hour frustration, this is a known thing. And whatever happens, the best thing happened to the country in last 1 decade in terms of online or app-based taxi booking. They're also facing a challenge in last 1 year, I'll say that, or more than 1.5 years. And the kind of challenges are, madam, kahan jaoge? And based on the location and the plate gets disconnected. I'm talking about B2C domain. Although it's not having a direct impact to the employee transportation, but in a certain extent, yes, it has. We'll also, talk about that. How is the correlation over there? And in terms of time consuming, if you're having your own vehicle, you have a different frustration crossing the, if you're in Pune, probably the Hinjawadi Bridge, or if you're in Mumbai, crossing the Siebs and other area. So let's move on that. If you're from a transport domain, you feel that, what I'm doing exactly is a right job or is a nightmare. Up to certain extent, this has been, I'll say, 100% may not be relevant, but up to certain extent, it has solved in a certain segments. I'll say certain segment in the sense, if it is a blue collar job industry, still it's a big challenge as of now because they are not so organized like IT industry. In IT industry, yes, to certain extent, if it is a daytime transportation, if it is connecting to the mass mobility, up to certain extent, certain things has been solved in terms of posting and routing. But yes, although it's a employee, it's a mindset of working extra hours, it's a mindset of committing to the boss. I'll do this and then only go home, and has a cascading effect on certain plannings, which transport department is not at all aware about that. So he's not least bothered about it, whether you wait for their 1 hour extra for your boss or not. It has a huge impact for him. Is as a dynamic rostering, or you can say ad hoc rostering or routing, or adding a new fleet for your transport, to go to home over there. So these are all things, the transport managers or transport department is facing day and night. On top of that, when the organization make a decision to, let's say, adopt a certain technology, and although I think 89% of organization has adopted that in the COVID time, probably these implementations are on hold, or they are not in place at the moment. But soon we're expecting that by end of October, and the organization which already started, they're looking forward for that. So attrition is one thing which it has a huge impact on the transport. If the company is providing a good transportation, it has a different impact for the comparing the best organization. This is one of the mindset of the employees driving, and that's how the transport department of the serial organization people, they want to have the best of the best transport to the company. But again, the optimization and budgeting comes over there. How efficient it is, how optimized we can have the routing of the per roster or per day travel plan, resource management, resource optimization in terms of a more than 80% fleet utilization or 100% fleet utilization. That's how the expectations have been set to the department. Apart from that, CSR comes with own their expectations. You need to reduce your carbon footprint. You need to bring so much green initiatives forward. So let's understand what we're talking about implementing a transport. Is it so complex? Answer is yes and no. It depends on what type of technology you adopt and how you try to solve that. But while understanding, let's decode certain expectations and certain challenges. So here I'll put certain situations which gives the clarity about the complexities. Although on my screen there are 3 characters, the 2 at the bottom over there, they are in a picture and they are not there in this world also. So having said yes and no, it depends on the what kind of organization having a setup in what kind of area and what kind of processes you have. I'll not talk much about that in terms of crossing the boundaries, but let me correlate everyone. Jatin, I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yes, you
Please
are
go
pretty
ahead.
much.
Perfect. So let's understand the employee. So employee is the first stakeholder of this ecosystem. Around that, everything is built because you're providing a transport system for the employee's comfort, employee availability for the business, on-time availability for the business, and again, safety of the employee. But employee transport, particularly employee as a individual entity into the overall ecosystem, has a lot of expectations and runtime expectations. I'll use, a simple situation. If there is a female who is, let's say, expecting a baby, as organization processes, if the processes are, pretty clear and standard, she can be on a back seat only, she cannot be on a front seat, and there won't be anybody sitting on over there. This kind of, small process and expectations set over there, or it could be only one person traveling and only one person accompanying her as a last drop over there. There are certain expectations from the employee, and they say that I don't want to see the face of the other girl or other boy, and I'm not happy with traveling together. This kind of expectation also come to the transport system. When it comes to the cab driver, we understand that what are the different type of crimes happens in the regions over there, and the kind of mindsets they are carrying while making the employee transportation. So if the technology doesn't make a dynamic routing and keep changing the routes every day for specific drivers, and if he's habitual to drop specific people at a specific day and time, they try to maintain or across the boundaries of a driver and employee or driver and passenger relationship, and end up into some other accidental thing, which are again tarnishing the image of the organization. So what kind of business rules you are setting up while defining the transport management system? Each and every stakeholder you need to think in all aspects. I'm not putting more details on each because this overall topic is almost more than 4-hour kind of session. I need to cover everything in the 30 minutes. The security center, when I was a part of couple of multinational in the country, and fortunately I used to work in a transport department also to solve certain things over there. The kind of a notorious problem comes to the security center in terms of post-fact analysis, or in terms of giving the decision, for the individual consensus, individual fights over there. It's really a funny scenario many times over there. When it comes to the nonsense fight, sometimes it's a sensible fights over there, right? But apart from that, the security center is more concerned about if the business is happening 100% on time, is there any violation? Or before violation, are the controls in place or not? Means right from the onboarding the vehicle to the transporting the particular passenger to the last mile connectivity or last drop of that particular employee, though it's a male or female, night hours, dark hours, or the day hours. So all these inputs, they are expecting that the data should be terminated or event should be terminated to the knock or security center over there. The billing department, they have their another challenges. But before coming to the billing department, let me come this down below two entities or two individual I'll say stakeholders. Although they are not directly connected to the organization, but in our country, Netaji also has a stake in terms of what kind of transport system particular business unit is running. And I'm not sure how many of you will agree on that or not. But in many areas, Netaji decide who should be the vendor, what should be the rate, and how it should be performed. What is the mileage for his local road bank, and what is the mileage for his his own presence over there. Although he may not fiddle with the internal processes over there, but they are such a good people in our country. They set expectations and one need to manage that. Most of the organizations are facing this challenge. They may not open the voice, or they may not talk loudly in the public forum about that. The on my left there is the cab guy. You can understand that this is another powerful person. He might be the same one with a Netaji, or he might be a different person. He might be a vendor, or he might be let's say local Bahubali over there. Apart from Netaji, they will like to set a business rules in terms of pickups and drops. They will like to set a business rules for the kilometer rate. It's a cartel. You want to implement a technology, you need to come before you give the presentation to the organization. You need to give the presentation to this gentleman. So to understand that yes, really, this system will be suitable for his defined rate, whether it's a trip based, whether it's you do the routing on a kilometer, but you pay for the trip. It's a very funny thing, initially when the accounting system started coming to country, the people will try to maintain the two books over there. And it's very unfortunate, couple of years, that was a practice in the country. Yes, people didn't watch for that. Nowadays also, there might be two big practice over there, in certain region. We don't know. But these kind of double standard practices are still there into transport domain, and the transport organizations are really fed up of that. The IT industry is the first thing who get or victim of that particular mindset over there. And if you reject the proposition, so probably no vendor will enter in that area. And my knowledge is based on the facts. My knowledge is based on the experiences in certain regions where the biggies of our country also need to bow down their head for the local or small fights. Let's come to our professional area in terms of the transport manager and the corporate transport manager. So who's from the vendor side and is from the, let's say, corporate side. They have their own challenges into the overall system in terms of satisfying the current market need. Let's say you define the contract based on the current state of the fuel and ups and down into the fuel over there. The market is so dynamic, it's become very difficult. Every quarter or every 6 months, vendor comes with its own understanding and agenda. Sir, we need to manage these things. Again, need to go back to the technology. TMS need to manage that. If TMS is well defined and very flexible, yes, TMS can accommodate immediate certain changes into the billing system over there. So billing system is the final outcome for the TMS. Even after the rostering, routing, or the passenger or the employee departed or dropped to the home. After that, this system comes in picture to make a final payment to the vendor over there. And there are various different rules. We'll also see what is the best mechanism and what are the other nitty-gritties, how best this system can be implemented. So let's move on. Jatin and Jay, in case if somebody has questions, you want me to take at the end of the session or between session, you please decide that.
Sure, sir. I will. When we have the questions, I'll definitely take it up, sir. You can carry on right now. Thank you.
So let's understand, what should be the best mechanism for a travel booking system. So considering all these, different stakeholder expectations and different stakeholders objectives apart from the business, CFO, or the billing department. So booking request can come at any time. That is, the most set expectations. A cutoff time is something, the organization like to take it. So runtime, even 1 minute is also fine. We need to get, booking to be satisfied and booking to be appreciated for that particular person's wish on that time. Yes, ad hoc is, certain things which need to be accommodated. And ad hocs are, having a very a funny dependency. Let's say, if you don't want to violate the rule of your transport, but you don't want to travel in particular vehicle. So knowingly, unknowingly, the people also, employee also play some time on notorious role, and they'll make absenteeism for that, and they'll make it themselves available as an ad hoc because they'll get a special treatment. I'm talking about the practical problems on ground, what happens over there, right? So considering all these things, there should be a very efficient booking management system which can have a real-time response and give the inputs to the routing mechanism. I'm giving the internals of the transport management system over here, how best it can be implemented. Routing, as I mentioned, that the women's safety, the current pandemic rules, the employee comfort policy, vehicle compliance policy. If all these things has been considered in that, all security controls, all the business controls, all the occupancy control that falls into the business controls over there. How many minimum passenger can go, maximum passenger can go, the maximum distance you can clock into that particular route. So in case if required, it need to be splitted or merged. That way, the female Vishaka guidelines for the female employee pickup and drop. So all these things will be considered, and based on that, the routing engine get designed, and if it is a well-structured routing engine or well-controlled routing engine, the outcome is efficient and effective. Then it comes to the vehicle deployment and dispatch process. So right from as I told you that the Bahubali or the Netaji to the vendor to organization, all these aspects are considered into this. And the first rule comes over there: a vendor opportunity or vendor person opportunity. Which vendor you want to give how much opportunity? Initially, it's supposed to route by the appetite of the particular vendor, how much capacity he has to provide the particular vehicle. But the game changes over there and say that that particular vendor can have many sub vendors over there, but this much percent of vehicle need to be allocated to that. So there's certain dictations happens over there. So if you have the well-defined, although I don't vouch and I don't advocate that things, but I have seen the organizations to put a request and to make a system flexible enough to make it more adaptable, and nothing wrong in that, because they need to do business. They can't end up having a fight on a day every day, or on the roads over there. So compliance verifications, if it is a well structured or well compliant routing and a vehicle onboarding mechanism, so things can be sorted out. Most of the security concern can be sorted out into the deployment mechanism. If the vehicle is not in compliance, or if there are any shortcomings over there, that can be managed, and the vehicle can be changed, or a different vehicle can be allocated over there. Again, in terms of communication, proper notification to the employee, either app or either SMS, what are other mechanisms are there nowadays? WhatsApp integrations are also there. In case if there are specific notification, not in a mobile app, these things, particularly blue collar job industry. And then the escort tagging and the billing process. So this is how the vehicle deployment process should be designed and implemented. It comes to the automation as the final outcome over here. And again, automation, there are various different things are there which are practiced, right from earlier RFID to current Bluetooth or mobile base. There are, industry has seen drastic changes into the overall process implementation. Few IT industry players, they bring earlier they used to bring a mobile based particular tracking system, and they used to give us dedicated mobile devices to the vehicle. It becomes a challenge because the runtime vehicle change or a vehicle no show is almost 10 to 20% in our country. You do water based planning, your 10% vehicle will not show on that particular roster or day and time. The new vehicle will be inducted by the transporter, and this will happen on every, let's say, a month start, or the week start planning. Once it's stable, probably it can come down to 5%, but again it will be fluctuating between 5 to 10% over there. So billing processes will have various different business rules implemented in that, and based on it, you need to have the very flexible. Again and again, I'm using the word flexible. It gets flexibility for all aspects need to be implemented, and based on that, you can have a perfect transport management system. Yes, employee safety is another aspect. We all know that. Once you have the base system, then again learn and adapt is the best mechanism. You need to have the continuous feedback from the employees how best we can make it or improve it on a day by day. So you need to have the well-defined ETA that to be met, and based on the criteria need to be confirmed. The availability of our seats, availability of occupancy of the vehicle, all these are the outcomes of the base-defined TMS system. I think this should be good enough. Let me touch base on the benefits of the effective TMS. Once you have the all aspects taken care, again cost saving, we started on that. How best we can make the balance. Every time the organization set expectation, we should at least have 5 to 30% reduction, and that can be implemented by type of vehicle, mass mobility, and other aspects. I'd like to touch base more on the current change happening in the country. And probably let me just flip on to one slide. This is a Mumbai example. And let's say in the current time, we're talking about after wave 2, what will be the transport system. But imagine after 2 years, what will be the transport system for Mumbai? So if you see on the screen, the 340 kilometer, it will cover almost a 3 kilometer radius in each area or each industrial area where there is a mass mobility connectivity is there. And the outskirts of Mumbai will not be having. And this is not a very specific picture to Mumbai. If you go to Delhi Metro, if you go to Pune Metro, if you go to Nagpur, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, so most of the metros implemented. Most of the metros implemented across the country, they try to cover all the dense areas. Now there will be huge impact on the employee transportation also. I'm not talking about the dark art mobility. Up to a certain extent, it will be adopted and managed. And Hyderabad was the best example for us, working with the Hyderabad Metro. So IT industry used to adopt more, for even up to 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Most of the rosters or shift timings can be managed with that. So what country will require, after some time, it will be a multimodal transport or the subscription economy. Though it could be fossil fuel or though it could be the electric vehicle. But right from your home to your office, that is first mile, 4 mile, and last mile, you need to adopt a multiple mode of transport, which will be cost effective, and that will solve most of the complexity in the transport domain also. So, for example, in Gurgaon, if you go there, so Gurgaon has most of the IT organizations, from Subhash Chowk and other area, they terminate the transport at metro station, and from there, so they used to put a polling vehicle over there. So employee can be dropped at the nearest metro station, and from there the employee can have his own transportation. And sooner or later, probably 2025, we'll be having almost 5,000 kilometers of metro track coming across more than 22 cities in the country. That is tier 1 and tier 2 cities over there. And definitely it will change the the overall canvas of the transportation. It might not be wonder that we'll have the water surface mobility also. Mumbai, the Honorable Transport Minister of the center, they're already planning to start the water surface transportation in certain areas, and it will also be linked with the multimodal transport. So that's how the next technology players will make it enabled to the IT industry or the other manufacturing or the production industry, how best they can provide the employee transportation connected to the core mobility or mass mobility. So I completed with this, in terms of my presentations on transportation. So Jatin and Jay, the floor is open for the questions if you have anything.
Sure, sir. Thank you. And I think that's a lot of information packed in a very short time. And I'm sure if we had more time, we would love to hear in depth as well. So I think there are a few questions that have come up. Let's take it one by one. And so what is the best available transport management software or system available in the Indian market?
See, I'm a founder of Allmile. I'll say my company is the best thing, right? No.
Absolutely.
Being a founder of Allmile, I cannot really judge on that. Who is the best? In my understanding, what is the best software is, if it can really reduce the pain of a transport manager. See, in all these things, which is the the most suffering department is the transport management department, because other departments are very good in setting the expectations, but these are the people on ground. They are really solving the challenges. So the system which can be adopted easily, which can be very flexible and can give the complete admin control to them, should be the best one. And it's up to the evaluation team or procurement team of the organizations. It's not good for me from this forum to say that which is the best system, right?
So
But
I think let me rephrase that, sir. What are some of the features that a person should definitely look out for in the software, which would make their life easier and foolproof?
So I'll say, a very extensive and robust routing engine. That is the first expectation.
Right.
So the system can adopt, any routing mechanism. Then, in terms of vehicle deployment and auto dispatching, if that is the facility available. Like in Goa, if you go, we are executing the mass mobility also there. So we used to run more than 3,000 fleets over there in Goa as across state.
Wow.
And we do service across the Goa on the app base in the brand name of Goa Miles. That's our second baby, say that, right?
Yes.
So, and so far, I'm happy to say that almost 18 lakh people we have served over there, including the pandemic time.
Okay. Okay.
During 30 months. So robust and very extensive routing engine, right. Dispatch and automation engine. That should be the two best quality you need to look for the any transport management system. Other things can be easily adopted or plug and play on top of that, in terms of integrating with your existing HRMS or SAP system. That can be done.
Right. So when you say robust routing engine, how does somebody make sure that the particular software that they're looking at shortlisting has that feature and it has a robust routing engine?
Okay. See, there are a couple of use cases which one can run on that. Okay. See, whenever our team is also when I say our team in the sense the people who are working in the transport domain from so many
Right.
decades, right? Initially they used to work on a paper and then Excel sheet, and they
Yes.
master the Excel sheet in terms of pivoting, area code, and kind of thing. And now they
Right.
master the the technology. So
Hmm.
what they can do, it's like building a chess game, for a robust routing engine for specific areas. If you can have a effective routing created, keeping in mind your roadside left and right, pick up and drop, crossing the rail lines. I'll give best example of selecting the routing engine out there in Pune, or for that matter in a particular city. If there is a railway crossing cutting across the city, let's say in Mumbai, it cuts. There are very selected areas where the bridges are there.
Yeah.
If the vehicle runs from one side of the rail, and if you put to optimize the cost, if you put the other side also pick up and drop over there and making it zigzag, your employee also get frustrated, driver get frustrated, and the transport department get frustrated, right? So you need to have the best balance. Your overall optimization also need to happen. Your time commitment also need to happen, and also the employee occupancy need to be managed in that way, right?
Right.
Or the overall travel time need to be maintained. Sometimes some organization maintain it, it's a 90 minutes or 60 minutes depending on the city and geography over there. So you can set your own parameter, and if that parameter are satisfied by that particular routing engine, you can say it's a robust for you.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Thank you. And this question was put across by Mr. Sam Abraham. We have another very relevant question, I think, specifically given to the current scenario from Pradeep, which is asking the companies that would be looking at reopening in the near future, especially, the KPOs, BPOs setup, which have large employees and where transportation is a very important aspect. What are some of the changes, or what are some of the things that they should take care of with respect to employee transportation?
See, I'll say, right from the contract, the things will be changed now, or, they have already changed, right? People have learned a lot of things, I'm talking about all the stakeholders, right? From the, organization side to the vendor side. And people also suffer a lot in last 15 months.
Right.
Legal definition of contracts will have, major impacts over there, because if there are certain commitments, most of the organizations who have given the commitment for the fleet ownership, fire contract and kind of thing, they try to maintain their credibility, and they try to sustain that particular commitment over their given contract. But 60 to 70% vehicles are out of the business for a long time, and most of these vehicles either are taken by the banks, or they are idle for a long time. So the definition of contracts will be changed, and this time when it comes to the we don't know whether it will be third way, fourth way, or what will be the country policy for working hours, right? So the flexibility need to be adopted in that. That is one aspect need to be considered over there. The I'll say tightly coupled and loosely coupled kind of commitment towards the vehicle and then the vendorship.
Right.
Second aspect, I'll say that the shared economy with the proper controls of sanitization or security or safety concern
Yes.
need to be given a preference over there, because that will give their legal contract, or I'll say de-risking of the operation in a better way.
Right.
But again, it's organization choice in terms of and based of the business expectations over there, right? So that is the second aspect. Third aspect, I'll say that in terms of the specific city specific rules in our country, we have seen that certain pandemic regions are left to the states, whether the state can decide the local policy, and the state has given it to the local up to the panchayat level over there. Because most of the times, if you see, the IT industry houses are built outskirts of the major cities.
Yes.
And these are not a part of the municipals; they are part of the panchayats over there, right? So certain rules are not as per the processes implemented over there. So this thing need to be taken care in terms of putting the compliances more towards the pandemic part. So I think these are the 3-4 areas mainly need to cover in terms of accommodating and adopting the pandemic effect.
Right. Right. Okay, absolutely. Moving on to the next question, we have how All Miles is supporting commuters on the first and the last mile connectivity in cities where metro services are operational.
See, the overall ethos and the thought of this multimodal transport is that the best if we make a use of multimodal transport by paying a one single ticket from your home to office, and this ticket can be either paid by the organization or paid by the employee, right? So that way, we before pandemic we implemented this in Hyderabad, and Hyderabad used to serve almost more than 5,000 employees over there before the pandemic was started, and we integrated with Hyderabad Metro. So you can buy a ticket of when we supposed to roll out a ticketing system. We actually stop the transportation over there, as a pandemic effect over there for a metro. So you can buy one ticket, and the last mile and first mile connectivity can run as a round robin fashion on a particular routes. So these are the privately defined routes apart from the state transport. So, and the metros are giving the permission to them. Metro law in India, the first mile and last mile connectivity is the purview of a metro, not as a state transport. So there is a small window which we can take a benefit of that in terms of utilizing the capability of metro associated transport. And the companies can really, save a lot of money by putting the, or leveraging the shared mobility for a round robin fashion or a fixed route connectivity. For example, we used to run almost 80 different routes in Hyderabad. So from home, you can catch a bus in every 10 minutes, and the experience is similar like a metro. You can catch any bus, and you don't need to pay for a specific bus or for a specific ticket. So the ticket window is, let's say, for 2 hours. Within 2 hours, you can catch any bus over there. As within 2 hours or 1 hour, you can catch any metro. Like that. So that way, we try to pass on a similar experience or seamless experience to the passenger.
So it's like a single window for the entire journey, whatever what they're using. Excellent, thank you. We have Mr. Abraham's another question from him, which is concerning women's safety. And he's asking, what is the SOP for vendors and clients to ensure safety of women in cabs?
Okay, see, the best practices, first of all, I'll suggest that, it start from your vendor enrollment or even the driver training part, right? I will not shy to say that in our country, the environment matters to, to commit a crime. If the, specific environment, if you take a Nirbhaya case or any other cases or there which are happening in transport domain, I start working in the transport domain because of such a bad incidents in Wipro when, everybody was aware about that, the girl was murdered and, thrown into the Nigdi area over there. And then, I was been hired to, define the transport system for Wipro. So I would say right from the, cab enrollment process, if you have the all genuine documents, in place, even right from the police verification, if it is a local law says that the badge is compulsory. So what happens is gives a first deterrence to the mindset of the person. I am, all track, all well recorded. Although he may not be change his mindset, if you want to commit a crime, that's a different story. But I'll say the first deterrence is there, proper process and compliance in place. The second thing, at organization level, there should be certain control implemented at a dispatch level of the particular vehicle. Means it's a human behavior monitoring. When I used to work with the Israeli agencies which participate in Operation Tornado in Taj, so I learned quite a good things. How best you can do the behavioral analysis. The supervisors of the transporters or the supervisors from the transport department of the organization, they need to have the skill to understand and analyze the behavior of the person over there. So easily they can isolate, I'll say the culprits over there. And I'll tell you, one or two use cases. If you're feeling that, the person is, feel drowsy or, he's still on the steering wheels and, not comfortable to, drive the particular vehicle. It's not an intention of the, wrong thing over there, but you need to analyze and, take that situation, away from the, your regular business, because he might be drunken. You can put him for the liquor test over there, or you can be, isolated from the, your transport particular operations, right? And we did that, at a couple of locations. So to define the elements over there. So this is behavioral aspects over there. From a technology aspect, none of the vehicles which is non-compliant should be onboarded or should be allowed the vehicle. I'll tell you, knowingly, unknowingly, having said all controls in place, transport department always says that we are not a 10-hand goddess or the Devi over there. We can do all these activities at a time. And absolutely, it's human work. It's to set expectations very easy. To implement it's very difficult.
Very.
Runtime, if there are 100 people are waiting at a floor and you don't have vehicle to deploy over there, what will do that? Many a times, the when choice given to the people, they take the mobile. Night time, even the girl, she just book the car on the mobile app and she will go to the vehicle. Although she need to put a paper process to the transport manager.
Right.
Since the vehicle is not deployed, there is no vehicle. I waited for 30 minutes. I need to go by so and so cab service, and I'll notify once I reach over their home. So to avoid such a situation, there should be a proper planning of the proper processes from the vendor side to have the sufficient or adequate vehicle availability. So there should be the ET of the vehicle which are coming to the business or coming to the duties over there need to be analyzed 1 hour before or in terms of their progress plan which are approaching to the organization. So that will solve a lot of the challenge of vehicle no show. Apart from that, there should be a real-time monitoring of the particular vehicle. Now people rely on mostly the gadgets over there, right? Nowadays only the gadget is sufficient over there to control the vehicle. But if it is a newly inducted vehicle, at least there should be some traceability mechanism as a government mandated processes, right? It could be AS 140 devices, whatever that. Still our country, I'll say it's a disabled mindset when it comes to the convergence of the security controls. So far, we are really not mature. And I'll give a best example of that after this question. So we need to have the processes and controls in place to avoid all such a situation. The women's safety aspect can be easily taken care. Having said all these things, you can't control the mindset of the person, no matter what kind of training you give and what kind of expectation you set. So I'll say it's up to the your onboarding processes, how best you can control the things before it happens.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think this is one of the most sensitive areas given the transportation vertical, and it's always like you're treading the tightrope, I think, when it comes to female employees, especially. Okay, there's a very specific and a slightly longer question, so I'm just going to read it out as it is. That's come from Mr. Rajneesh Kumar. Most of the car hire vendors are using FASTag, not able to attach the supporting as it's linked to their bank account, and no receipt is given by FASTag for the same. How do we ensure that toll charges deducted are correct? Because every time sharing the bank statement by the vendor seems to be a little challenging for each and every trip where the toll is charged.
Okay, see, we need to consider the example of I'll take a name of the the efficient transport minister, Mr. Gadkari ji. So he has a vision, how best we can have the a geocode based tagging system for even toll deduction if it is not a FASTag, for other vehicles which are not non-compliant over there. When you do the routing and rostering, if I'm correct, the question is that how best we can have the proper detection of the FASTag and the toll charges in the system, right? That's the question.
So I think the person who's put the question, let me just request him, Mr. Rajneesh. If you're there, maybe you can just unmute yourself and respond to that, sir. You would be the best person to know if we are on the right track.
May I just know that by what name he's logged in? Because I don't find anyone.
Rajneesh Kumar is what is written over here.
No, I don't think that he is.
Okay, I'll take a benefit of doubt. And if the question is that how best the transparency can be maintained if the FASTags are properly considered for the toll. See, most of the implementations across the country has a army campuses also. If it is a camp area, they have their own deduction, or they can use a Pauti system or tax system over there. If it is a toll across the state transport or the interior of the cities over there, the bridges or municipal tolls are there. So I believe most of them can be geotagged easily, and the transport management system need to consider that if the route is been considered. For example, if you're going to airport for your next flight, automatically you'll get a toll added in that, because it knows that on a route the toll is there, and that transparency can be maintained into the TMS and extended up to the billing system of the particular vendor.
Right. Okay. Thank you for answering that, sir. And I think there's somebody who's requested for checklist. So I think let's wait for our module to begin. And that's exactly why we are having this pre-launch to our transportation employee fleet management module. This was a kind of a teaser, trailer, whatever you could call it, that there is so much information, there is so much of checkpoints that one should be aware of to be able to sort of master this domain and deliver the services. So I think we'll hold on to the checklist. I'm not going to bother Mr. Utkarsh with that. Please register, join our training program, and you will get all the checklists. I can guarantee you that. Moving on to our next question. How can we ensure employee safety or sort of minimize company liability in case of a multi-modal transport system?
See, multimodal transport system is the best thing, to de-risk the organization also. But I'll not say de-risking is the only objective, because organizations are, they just want to wash a hand. That's not a thought process. In my understanding, it's employee safety, concern, care, and comfort. All these things considering in mind, the best thing comes over there. How fast you can come to the organization. If you have a dedicated transport, and if you're reaching to the organization in 2.5 hours, rather if you travel by metro, and you can come, let's say 30 minutes. The best is metro, no matter you send a Mercedes-Benz to pick up the passenger or, your employee. I'll prefer the metro, it should be the best one over there, right? So apart from that, yes, pandemic has some concerns and different state of mindset now for the employees also. How comfortable I am when I'm standing to the next person, although I'm traveling in the metro, right? But slowly, once we have the better healthcare and, the proper controls, or, I'll say that end of the wave 3 or whatever that. Okay. So the multimodal transport will be the best thing happening to the country almost at least 20 or 30 cities over there, where 60 to 65% of the load of employee transportation can also be accommodated by providing the first mile and last mile connectivity. That will reduce the cost structure, that will reduce the organization liability in terms of extending the up to home drop or home pickup kind of commitment. In certain regions, particularly for the let's say in our country, there are certain regions which are crime prone regions. Certain routes are crime prone routes over there, right? So we used to attach or tag the security guard for particular region or routes over there. In that particular situation can be handled by dedicated transport. But to minimize the crime against women also, the mass mobility is the best thing which happens over there, because as I told that environment matters a lot.
Yes, definitely. And I think that's something that we all need to be extra cautious of. Okay, there's one more question that's come relevant to billing. And since billing is a very sensitive aspect of the entire vehicle transportation system, how smart All Mile solution and any specific USPs are when compared to other solutions available in the market?
Ma'am, can you please, I was trying to read, Mr. Sharad Bhargav's question, so
I think he's shared something to you directly. So yeah. Why don't you take that question first, sir, please?
So I'll just skip this question, I think, yeah, so Sharad Bhargavaji put me that, the role of Netaji and other things, smile, yeah. So he's asking me that, how will the transport ecosystem after the pandemic, right? And yeah, we discussed about that, Sharadji. Sharadji is a good friend. So after pandemic, yes, as I mentioned, the things will change drastically in terms of adopting the new business rules over there. No matter you will have that 2 vaccine and other things over there in place, but your occupancy ratio, your social distancing. Sometimes I just feel that, it's unnecessary compliance. Don't take me in wrong way, because that's a very negative statement as compared to the country's health ministry. But when I approach the airport, they say, stand in a queue at least, 1 meter away from each other. And, when I'm boarding the flight, again, they ask me to maintain the rule, maintain the mask and everything. Still
But
1
then
meter
you're
rule over there.
next to next.
Yeah, and when sitting each other, probably we're rubbing each other's shoulder.
Yes. True,
So
very true.
how does
It's
it help?
very ironical, actually.
It's 17
But
hours.
yes, having said that, post-pandemic, this rule needs to be maintained. The compliances need to be followed, and it will have, a definite impact onto the overall transport ecosystem. Multimodal is one thing which, companies will adopt in a based and fast way. Yes, it will take at least 2.5 years or 3 years, and still the cities are still expanding. The landscape is, still increasing over there. So the transport domain, will have a definite, huge amount and humongous work going ahead. There is no doubt on that. It will
Right.
continue the way that it is there, but yes, some form will change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one, I'm going back to the previous one, which was relevant to billing. And since billing is a very sensitive aspect of the entire transportation systems, how smart All Miles solution is, or what are some of the specific USPs when compared to other solutions available in the market?
Yeah, I believe that's from KVR, sir.
Yes, that's right, sir.
So thank you, sir, putting for this question. So I have a very high respect about KVR.
Okay.
So so old and good relation from Hyderabad. So see, if you ask me the smart solution, or how best, the All Mile and other USPs, as I mentioned that the flexible system which can adopt anything, because transport, the first expectation is that anything under the sun can be managed in transport by the transport department. That is the first expectation. Although it's not 100% true in terms of satisfying the need, but the flexible system, the multimodal aspect to adopt the transportation, that is a new thing which I'll add into the USPs over there. And apart from that, the multimodal transport in terms of single ticketing right from the company side planning. So when we discuss with Hyderabad Metro, so Hyderabad Metro open a thought, we can work out with the organization for the concessional rates or base rate for the even employee transportation. So these are the certain aspects you need to consider on that. So there are different provisioning, means the ticketing can be given through the separate set of API to the these travelers on a monthly pass basis or a monthly duration basis. So these are certain things while selecting the next transport system. You need to probably think on that as a
Right.
USPs.
Right. Thank you for answering that for Mr. KVR, sir. And one last question from my side is, what are some of the qualities or values that a person should have or should be a priority when you're looking at becoming an excellent transportation manager? Because it's a mix of the soft skills, the behavioral, the anticipation, the logical, the technical. There's a whole lot that's there. What are some of the top features, qualities that would make a good transportation manager?
See, first of all, the expectation towards this transport manager is like a Thalaiva. Thalaiva in the sense, you're Rajnikant, right?
Absolutely. That's why I'm asking you this question.
So I will say that the best quality for the transport manager should be, first of all, he should be unbiased about the fleet and the employee. It's
Right.
like a doctor who never loves the patient or there while operating or making a surgery. If you are not biased with any vendor, you will able to provide best of the best options to the organizations, or choose the
Right.
best of the best options to the. Second thing, he should not be part of the business. There are so many examples we have seen that the transport manager somehow they're also part of the business. If you're a part of the business, it need to become very difficult to justify yourself, your role over there, right?
Right.
So this is the basic, when you say the basic qualities, or I'll say the attitude of the transport manager should be really down to earth, and having a ice factory and sugar factory, both quality together.
That's very well put, I would say, having an ice factory and a sugar factory. That's a brilliant one. And
You can't make happy everyone, that's true. But still, you need to manage your job, right? Because
yes,
people expect you as a Rajnikant to solve everything.
true, true. Brilliant. I think that's about it. And we've got some compliments coming in. Thank you for all the insights. Thank you for the wonderful session. And truly, it has been a very in-depth as well as quite exhaustive in terms of the number of aspects that you have given us an insight to. So on behalf of Global Association for Corporate Services and School of Excellence, I take this opportunity to thank you, sir, for sparing your time, sharing your knowledge, and enlightening all of us. I'm sure we're all going to go back a little more wiser and a little more cautious and careful as well. So thank
Thanks,
you
Jaya
so much.
ma'am. And thanks to Jatin and GSC for giving this opportunity. Thanks to everyone listening very patiently. Thank you so
Not
much.
at all. And just before everyone logs off, I would like to just announce a few things because this was a kind of pre-launch or a premiere. I could say that this was a premiere to the movie that's going to be released. And we're talking about the Transportation Employee Fleet Management module, which we are launching from 9th October onwards. I think this session would have given everyone a good idea of what all is involved. And I'm sure we understand the consequences that we could be suffering, the organization or even our employees could be facing if we're not careful or cautious. So there's several aspects to this entire system, which is the background of the industry, the fundamentals that are involved, the regulations and the compliances aspect, the processes and the policies, and that's where you would get insights into checklists, etc. And then the measurement matrix or the benchmarking that you would need to or you would want to set up for your organization. So this is something, please do share it within the fraternity to others, people who are just starting off their careers in this domain, corporate services, transportation, admin, facility management, whatever the role may be. I think this is definitely an add-on to your profile. Having said that, we have just concluded last weekend a previous module, which I would just like to share a few words, which was enhancing technical literacy for non-technical people. And I think we stand humbled, acknowledged by a lot of our participants who were from very different backgrounds. They've all come forward and said that this has really been very helpful. So please understand that since Global Association for Corporate Services is a knowledge sharing platform, the whole idea of setting up School of Excellence was that we now give this knowledge in structured way. And who better than us to understand the nuances of this industry, to understand the diverse backgrounds that people come from and get become a part of this industry and do perform in different roles. So please watch out for all our modules that we are coming with. Also, suggestions are invited so that we come up with new modules. So please feel free to also share your thoughts, your ideas. And last but not the least, I would like to end the show with a showstopper. We are going to be launching very soon Excellence 360 Degrees, which is going to be a lot of leaders sharing their journeys, their stories, and I think we learn a lot from such leaders. So please be on the lookout. We will be raising the curtain soon on this, and the first session is on 1st of October. So do join us on that, and we're really looking forward to all these programs provided we have great, excellent support, as you all do always, from each and every one of you. Once again, I take this opportunity, Mr. Utkarsh, to thank you on behalf of all of us. Thank you for coming here and sharing this excellent insight. Thank you to all the people who joined in, despite being a working day. Truly appreciate all of you giving in your time and look forward to your continued support. Thank you so much.
Just to add on, you can always reach out for any queries or an enrollment in these programs to soe@gacs.world. I repeat, it's soe@gacs.world. Thank you so much, everyone. And Mr. Utkarsh Kable, thank you so much for contributing to these initiatives.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.